What's good, y'all? This is Chris Nelson, part two of my tribute to hip hop. Yo, hip hop is a way of life. It's about how your style of dress, how you dress. I learned how to dress hip hop. I used to have a box. Man, listen, I used to have all kind of hairstyles you won't believe. I had the box back in the day. I had a baldy back in the day when Onyx was hot. The group called Onyx was hot, you know what I'm saying? I used to have waves. I used to have braids. Yo, like I said, man, just learning the craft, learning the culture, this culture, our culture, that we as black folks created here in America. Hip-hop is global, man. I learned a lot. Like I said, the dancing, the singing, as far as, learning, Mary J. Blige's songs, with P. Diddy and his crew. Learning Heavy D songs and, just learning different people who contribute to the culture, you know what I mean? Like I said in the other video, hip hop is not only about MCing. There's graffiti art, there's dancing, b-boy, you know what I'm saying? Locking, you know what I mean? I learned that along the way. There's singing, you can do collaborations with people, different artists, which I've done. Making beats, you know what I'm saying? Making beats. And, DJing. So, yeah, like I said, just as much as R&B, soul, and rock and roll, cultural rock, blues and jazz, and gospel, spiritual music is part of my life, and also classical music is part of my life too as well. Hip hop is definitely up there. I'm influenced by all kinds of music. Hip hop just gave me the sauce. I remember when I used to go to my piano recitals, and I would pick a song from Beethoven and flip it a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And then one day I would actually, learn a song that I liked, you know what I'm saying, and played it for my piano class. You know what I'm saying? And I just developed my own thing. I remember, as far as dancing, I remember growing up, like I said before, I used to dance, not just in the household, but outside, also outside in the streets. I used to dance everywhere, you know what I'm saying? I used to sing everywhere, in school, from preschool to middle school to high school. You know what I'm saying? I used to dance everywhere, man. I used to go to dance. Man, listen, I used to go to dances every Friday. Dances every Friday. And listen to Rob Bass, to MC Hammer, to Michael Jackson, to Prince. But listen to, all these raw, amazing artists that you never heard before at that time. And like I said, hip hop, back in those days, you could tell who was who. You can tell who's who. So, not just watching MC Hammer on screen, you know what I'm saying, everything. I used to watch, listen, back in the days, we used to have tape decks, like cassette tapes and tape decks, videotapes. So, I bought MC Hammer's tapes. I bought Michael Jackson's tapes. I bought so many different other tapes in terms of the videotapes and also, cassette tapes. I have a whole catalog. I have a whole catalog of cassette tapes still to this day. Still to this day. All those tapes are in the archives now for me. But I used to listen to everything, all kind of music back in the day, and hip hop was definitely a part of it. I remember watching Boyz II Men when the New Jack Swing was around, and Boyz II Men was still in high school. I remember watching them, like literally watching them. I went to the high school as a child, watching my cousin Mark, who formulated Boyz II Men, watching him and his friends on stage, at their concerts twice a year. Twice a year, both, I think their junior year and also their senior year. And back in those days, right, you had to, it was no, you can't, you don't want to go nowhere to support your family. You had to be there. Nowadays, people don't care. You know what I'm saying? You can stay home. But back in those days, our parents made us go to support our cousins, our family members. You know what I'm saying? That was like, you was going to go. So I remember, when BBD came out with Poison, and listening to that, and that's a whole story. That's a whole nother story. But I remember watching hip hop through that, watching my cousin Boys, forming Boys II Men. I was not there, but he brought Boys II Men to my house in Morton. I wasn't there when we actually formed Boys II Men, but I remember him bringing it to the house. My house, in Morton, PA, the Nelson house was the house to go, especially when my cousins came to town. When my Aunt Phyllis came to town, when my cousins came to town, they was like, that was like the spot. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. Hip hop has always been around my life. You know what I'm saying? Like many others, like everybody on Instagram, on Facebook, on social media, hip hop has been around all our lives. You know what I'm saying? And yeah. I'm just letting you guys know that I'm celebrating what I feel as though I should celebrate and contribute. You know what I mean? All of us as musicians, as artists, vocalists, singers, songwriters, musicians, beat makers, MCs, you know what I'm saying? Hip hop has been around for years. It's been around for years. I mean, I was not there, obviously, in 1973, but I watched hip hop grow in 1980s. Hip hop was still a baby, growing in 1980s, and blossomed in 90s, and look where it's at now. I watched all that. The same way watching the internet come through, and my generation ushering the internet, the computer. I remember back in the day that the computer was nothing to actually to aspire to do, as far as like being on the computer, being on the phone. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have camera phones back then. We didn't have computers. We had computers, but not like this. I mean, everybody went outside to play all the time. We went outside and played basketball, and you used to hear hip hop at the basketball court, football field, basketball court, everywhere. Hip hop music, the dancing, the style, the dress, the soul, the cadence, the essence, the energy was all around us, man. All around us. I remember vividly that that people in the media were saying that that hip hop it's not gonna last long. It's just a fad. Hip hop changed people's lives, man. Music changed my life, and like I said, hip hop is one of them. Hip hop was one of those so-called genres of music that changed my life. And the way of life is hip hop, man. Singing in the choir, the way you dance in the choir, the way you just like I said before, I got so many stories about hip hop, how hip hop shaped my life. I'm saying, and just learning and growing and watching people do their thing. So, happy 50th anniversary, y'all, to hip hop. Peace.